Hello, it's Remember Me. We are back, and we haven't had another week pass where we then meet up with Jon Tickle again. We've just picked up where we left off, and here we are again with Jon Tickle.
So you come out of the Big Brother house, you go back to work.
Yeah.
How does Brainiac come about?
So I was very, very lucky. It's just serendipity, this. So I was Big Brother 4. Kate Lawler was Big Brother 3. She had got a gig presenting Rise, the Channel 4 breakfast show. But the other thing about Rise was the production company that made it had a talent agency in the same building. And I had got a gig on Rise just doing the morning TV things where I was just reading from some cards and go, well, you really ought to watch EastEnders tonight because something's going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
So Jan, my beautiful, wonderful agent, wandered down the corridor one day and said, have you got an agent, John? No, I hadn't thought about that. I'm going back to work in a few weeks. And she said, well, would you like me to represent you? I said, well, okay. And so she got me the Brainiac gig.
Were you offered other things as well? Were you interested in other things?
Well, no, because I said no. I'm not interested in doing media. I've got a really important job I've got to go back to.
But that is so fascinating, I find, because so many ex-contestants obviously participate in reality shows because they see it as a vehicle to get to somewhere, you know, that they want to go. And it's a different era, obviously, but they might want to be a TV presenter. For me, it feels as if like you ended up being on Brainiac and, of course, being a major part of that. But that wasn't your intention.
No.
Most all the other people who were didn't end up on.
No,
you know?
I really want to explain. Right, kids, listen to me. Right, so you think media pays a lot of money? Yes, it does on a day rate. But you're not working every day, and you're not getting private medical insurance or a company car or a pension. Whereas my boring old job, blue chip company, and I'm a senior manager, that really pays quite well. And I have the company car, the phone, everything else. And so, you know, it didn't take very many years for me to earn far, far more from my proper job than I did for any media work that I did.
I really enjoyed you breaking the fourth wall there. That was particularly when about halfway through you started breaking for the fourth wall.
We've never had a guest that's become a careers advisor halfway through the interview. I'm here for it, John.
So Brainiac Science Abuse, in case you haven't seen, it's a show that you either know or you don't. And I think the main gap, the main reason you either know or not is whether you had Sky. Because if you had Sky growing up as a teenager, it was basically at the heart of your routine alongside Simpsons and Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah. And it was a science show in the loose term. Because there were science experiments and there was logic behind it, but it involved blowing up caravans. Yeah. It involved bizarre experiments.
Stand back, everybody, this one's going to be bad!
2 grams of rubidium will only react when our specially designed vial dissolves in the water, which gives John a few crucial seconds to get into our safety zone.
That was massive!
It was also just kind of very British humour, very surreal. And then you were sort of brought on, I guess, for 2 reasons. One, for like listing random questions, essentially. What was it called? Tickle
Teasers.
Tickle Teasers. Or being involved in various stunts that we will get onto later. I'm very excited. But for me, it was like such a core part of my growing up. And it was, I think, absurd. And the best about it was that I felt that when I was watching it, to my parents, they thought, oh, Scott's really learning about stuff. When actually you've just had 6 pints to go and see what could be the best hangover cure. And you did that over 3 consecutive nights. So that means that you drank 18 pints of beer. Quite an achievement.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun to work on the show. You're quite right. We blew stuff up and somehow we managed to persuade people it was science.
The Brainiac was for the young people to get into science, right?
You have demographics that you pitch TV shows for.
Yeah.
So, yes, this was lads and dads. It was 16 to 34-year-old males.
Okay.
I must say, you know, we've been through Me Too eras and all that kind of stuff. Some of the items we can look back nowadays with a bit of honesty
with
and
hindsight,
say, there's a lot of cleavage in there somehow, isn't there?
Now, Mr. Tickle, would you please lick your elbow?
It is believed that no human being can lick their own elbow, as the combined maximum length of the neck and tongue is about 2 inches shorter than the length of the upper arm.
I'm sorry, nurse. I can't do that.
So I think like one of the most, if I think of Brainiac science abuse, I only think of one thing, and I cannot believe I'm talking to it. There's not me getting emotional. There's a fog on my throat. No, but there's one part that will always stick in my mind, and that is you walking on custard.
100%.
Which is one of the greatest moments in British TV history.
Jon Tickle, walk on the custard.
Thank you.
Custard. At rest, a liquid. On impact, a solid. Can it be true? That is amazing!
Picture the scene. You managed to get a full size, well, not full size, but a decent sized pool on what seems like a really cold day.
Oh,
They filled it with custard, and the whole idea was basically that if you stood on the custard, you'd sink, because custard, I mean, you know this more than I am, but it would just, it's malleable, so you would sink.
Yeah.
But if you kept walking on it, you would walk on custard.
yes.
What was that like to film?
Absolutely brilliant. That was Richard Hammond's pool. That was his house, his field
pool.
in Gloucestershire. So we went and stayed in Gloucestershire the night before. I had a night in the pub. It was brilliant. Richard told me a little white lie, which I still haven't quite got over. And he said he'd switch the heating on in that pool. But with hindsight, no one is going to switch on the heating in February to heat up 27,000 litres of water and then dump it out on the hill the next day.
No, John.
So if you ever watch that back on YouTube, and I try to walk on water and can't, and so sort of,
Yeah, so starts off the feature is to prove like, oh, you
Yeah.
can't walk on water.
Yes.
And you go in and
then I come up for air and I go, and it's not air. I'm absolutely freezing. Yeah, I
Freezing.
did 2 takes of that and then threw a strop and wouldn't do any more.
Well, we have to obey the laws of physics. Even Jon Tickle.
But
what a diva. But in a good way. Like,
Yes.
I would do the same, babes. I would do the
But
same.
a great item. It's the thing that people come up and talk to me most often.
I was going to ask,
yeah.
is that the thing? Because
Yeah.
even just hearing you describe it there, Scott, like the walking on custard,
It's incredible.
it's a core memory, I think, of so many people's childhood watching that experiment.
Was it
And-
real custard?
And well, not quite. I'll come back to that. But we deal with that on the show. But the thing is, it's still parts of people's childhood. They
Yes.
show it in science in science lessons in
Still
school.
now.
Yeah. I get a lot of teachers coming up to me and telling me which items they're showing in classes, because they love doing that, so that they can then hook the kids in and then go and talk about the proper science
Yeah.
that's behind it.
You're like the
which is-
gateway.
Yeah, no, I'm the gateway drug. Yes, yes. So no, we called it custard, but Richard did a piece to camera in the item where we explained it was an oobleck, which is starch and water.
Okay.
Custard, strictly speaking, milk and egg yolks,
Yes.
Okay.
and the egg yolks are the binding agent for the water, for the milk. So we use cornstarch and water because it was a more guaranteed result. But we made that clear on the show.
But what do you do with all of that afterwards?
You pump it out on the side of the hill and hope the horses don't want to eat it. Yeah.
Different time. Different time.
And you also, I think in one other episode, did you swim in treacle?
Oh, hated that. Yes.
It looks gross.
Again, another, because of the way that Brainiac was part of the spring schedule of Sky One,
Yeah.
then it was filmed in winter in order to be ready.
Because this is the thing. None of the footage looks glamorous.
No.
In the most loving way. It's
Yeah.
like because Brainiac kind of in a weird way looked cheap.
It
But that was part of its charm.
Yeah.
So when you're seeing a really cold swimming pool in
Yeah.
January and February, or you're seeing you
Swim in
basically wearing a
treacle.
wetsuit and then going into a pool in what seems to be a waste disposal site
You
or a
must have
gravel
dreaded
pit.
seeing swimming
Yeah,
on the
honestly.
itinerary.
Let's do the numbers. It's going to be geeky just for us.
Yep.
Sure.
Brainiac was filmed for 105,000 an hour. Now, we are filming 3 to 5 minute segments.
Yeah.
And we can do 2 segments. I was filming 2 segments a day.
Okay.
So you got to film, well, it's an hour long with adverts. That's 44 minutes. So 4's into 44, 11 segments are going to cost £105,000.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of money when you got to buy all the equipment and pay the crew and all that kind of stuff. So it was done on a shoestring.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a budget to do high science and stuff like that. So yeah, we blew stuff up and called it science. But back to Swinging Through Treacle, this was an argument about viscosity between Huygens and Newton, who were competitors, one German, one English, back in the, pick a century, 16th century, something like that. And so I tested it by swimming through water and then, it was golden syrup.
Yes.
Or industrial golden syrup.
Yeah.
And I got there on set and they'd poured it all in the night before, and I got there and they were using a hammer to break the ice off the top of it. So
Off
yes.
the top of the treacle.
Yes.
Isn't television glamorous?
Yes.
Isn't television
Yes.
production?
Oh, John.
Absolutely freezing.
Oh my God.
But was it the case that they just go to you, "Hi, John, we want you to walk on custard this week. Hi, John, we want you to go through golden syrup." And then you just go, "Sure, find me in the pool."
What choice did I have? I mean, people did used to come up to me and say, "So what was it like to write those items?" I've got a job.
Yeah.
There's a crew that's writing this stuff. I'm just turning up and reading the script. My only contribution was that very often there was a section in the script which said, "John explains the science here." And I used to carry a bunch of old A-level textbooks in the boot of my car and have to come up with something to explain it on the day. But yeah, I wasn't writing any of
Because
any
you
of
were
the
also,
show.
to be clear, you were doing your
Proper job.
proper job
Yeah,
and then using
My holidays,
Using
yeah.
your holiday to do Brainiac.
I got 30 days holiday a year, 5 of which I had to pay for. And so I did 30 days filming a year. I didn't have any holiday for 5 years.
Oh my word.
Neither did well, this is a sob story, but neither did I have any time to cook. I was just so time poor. I was travelling. My team was based between Staines, Oxford, and Cardiff. I was working on a major programme in Leicester. I was doing 35,000 miles a year. I had no time to sleep.
So you're eating like fast food on the go.
Fast food, takeaways,
Yeah.
Ready meals.
Wow.
I got gallstones, had my gallbladder out as soon as Brainiac finished.
Oh my
You know,
God. Wow.
Yeah.
There was also, I think, on the show, I was talking about it earlier, Tickle Teasers, when you would basically go to the camera, break the fourth wall, and then say something like, "Before sliced bread, what was it?"
Here's one for you. Why doesn't glue stick to the inside of the bottle? Here's one for you. Why do we call the third hand on a watch the second hand?
Were you having people basically asking random questions to you in the same way as the feature the whole time?
Or reminding me of questions that I'd asked and asking me for the answers.
Oh, I see,
Which-
because we've got some here. Do fish get thirsty?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
If a car is travelling at the speed of light and the lights on the car are switched on, what would happen?
Well, this is a question about general relativity, Scott.
Yeah, but as a kid, that would send me for a week. I'd be thinking about that all week.
Why is the third hand of a watch called the second hand?
That's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
What do you call a male ladybird?
I don't know the answer to that one. This is a good point.
Did you write these ones?
No, of course not. No. Everything was written for
then
me.
you're asking, is your teaser, and you've no idea.
I don't even remember doing most of them.
Was there ever any that went sort of like too far or went a bit kind of haywire? Didn't go as planned.
Well, not as planned, I guess. Again, we've all been at school and we've cranked up a Van de Graaff generator to create static electricity.
All the time.
Yeah.
It was.
But you remember
the
those
biggest
experiments?
issue of my day.
Yeah. Well, I was doing the experiment and I had a bunch of models, very attractive young ladies, and maybe
I thought you meant model.
No,
models,
yeah,
ladies.
females,
Right.
Yes. And maybe I was a bit distracted,
Yes.
and I'd forgotten to put one of the insulating pads in place, so they were grounded. And when they touched the big old grounded path generator, they all got a massive
They all got an electric shock.
So all
John!
of a sudden, all these attractive young ladies don't feel very positively about me.
Yeah, a chain
Was it-
reaction of negativity
Yes,
was it?
brilliant.
Okay. Lovely
Yes.
stuff.
How many times did you also see a caravan explode? And did you get bored of seeing caravans explode? Because there were at least 2 an episode.
Yeah.
Yes, none.
You never saw a caravan?
I never did any
Never.
No.
What?
I did my items. That was another film crew.
You
so
just
I-
in front of that water cooler 40 times asking facts,
Yeah.
dropping teasers
No,
that
I
nobody
never
knows the
got
You
to
answers
were
do
to.
never
that
in
fun
on the
stuff.
caravan
No.
exploding. Again, for anyone who's listening to this and for anybody who's listening to this and didn't see Brainiac, every episode, as you say, at least one caravan
Yeah.
exploding.
It was either that with Tina Turner and a Bunsen burner.
Oh, that's a good one. That was so good.
An adoring Brainiac hands Tina her treasured gold-plated Bunsen burner. All she has to do now is guide it to its target. Job done.
Which was definitely we came up with the name first, and then we came up with the item. Like that's the.
Yes. Well, apparently we had a tame network of scientists and universities who knew the show and were delighted to submit ideas for it. So
Oh, incredible.
it
so
kept us
cool.
going. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to hear that side of things and how, science teachers still are using the experiments in Brainiac. And it did take you to some really cool places. Like you went to 10 Downing Street to sort of showcase the importance of science. And didn't you meet your hero, Sir David Attenborough?
Yes. I mean, that's my stock answer. Well, what's the best thing that you've
Really?
ever done? Oh, God, I'm getting emotional again. What's happening to you today?
No, but of course you're good if you meet Sir David Attenborough. Did you get to chat to him?
Yes, he sat opposite me randomly, and after the formal discussion, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. He said, "John, I was very interested in a couple of points that you made there. Would you mind staying behind and discussing them further with me?"
Oh.
I mean, at that point, I'm afraid you just fall to pieces and your tongue doesn't work. And so I'm not sure I acquitted myself very well, but David Attenborough briefly noticed me, and I'll go to my grave with that on my CV. So.
Have that on your epitaph.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you feel when Brainiac ended then? Because it was such a huge part of your life.
It was. I mean, it's not sour grapes, but there was a sense of relief because I'd been doing 2 jobs for 5 years. And
Yeah.
I was
I mean, you didn't have a day
shattered.
off for 5 years.
Yes, exactly.
So total understandable.
I loved Brainiac. It's such an important part of my life, but the sense of relief when it finished was quite large.
And that
Yeah.
was a conscious decision to be like, right, that's it for TV.
Yes, also, let's be completely honest, Scott, no one else picked up the phone and called and asked me to do anything else. So, it was just happenstance, but it worked out fine for me.
I think because you're so passionate about your, using your words, your proper job and your scientific endeavours in that way, away from the spotlight, I think you're probably the first person we've had on this that has had that sense of relief and had a clear direction of where to go when that phone isn't calling anymore for media stuff.
Yeah, was it Andy Warhol who said everyone's got 15 minutes of fame? Have I misquoted someone?
And I think so, yeah.
Well, I'd had more than my 15 minutes. It was time to let it go at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did it feel like a nice natural end to
Yes, it did.
Brainiac?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why we weren't commissioned for more series. I never wanted to know
Yeah.
the answers to that. But when they said it's over, I went, okay, fine, good.
Yeah. But in those 5 years, you'd won awards, Brainiac?
Oh,
hadn't you?
yes. I think we the industry, learned from Brainiac in that way. You have to hook people in. You can't have them watching Tomorrow's World or Horizon or, pure science unless they're willing to engage with science in the first place. So there's a place for shows like Brainiac who blow stuff up, and Mythbusters are still doing it. That we need those kinds of shows to be made, and I'm glad that I played a little part in doing that.
Because I feel like it has to be like entertaining.
Yes.
To then educate. Because that's
Yes.
that's the trick, isn't it? It's basically like let people in thinking that it's not going to be informative and educational, but then you're talking about different types of the materials on the periodic table and how they react. And I mean, I feel the amount of people who I've spoken to over the years who have learned so much from Brainiac, particularly how to overcome a hangover, and with that you can walk on custard if it's in Richard Hammond's swimming pool.
Yes. What are the Reithian principles from the BBC?
Exactly.
I can't remember them, but something like inform, educate, and entertain. Yeah. So that's what we try to do. Hands off Auntie Beeb, whoever you are.
Looking back, John, are there any negatives to fame?
Negatives, can't really talk about very many of them. It taught me a lot about who I am, how other people see me, how I can be a better friend, a better person. So I think the positives far outweigh any negatives.
Yeah. Well, let's bring it to something I know you're very, very excited to talk about. Inventions.
Oh, yes.
Inventions, John.
Yes.
You absolutely live for them. Can you talk to me about the Time Delay Toaster? It's one of your many inventions. Has it ever been realised?
No, Tickle's Time Delay Toaster or Tickle's two-timing toaster, call it what you will. Throwaway line about Marmite in
Yeah.
Big Brother House. I like Marmite. I know people don't. But the best thing about Marmite is you get the Marmite out, spread the butter on, you spread the Marmite on, it's all melty, all melts in. By the time you've done that, you go back to the second slice,
Yeah.
it's all got cold, so it
Yeah.
doesn't melt anymore. It's completely different. What you need is a time delay between the two slices of toast popping up.
Uh-huh.
Time Delay Toaster. The Sun had patented this invention on my behalf whilst I was in the house, but unfortunately, if you speak publicly about an invention, it can't be patented, so it was worthless.
Oh.
And also,
Take that, the Sun.
Yeah.
yes, I did speak to one of the toaster companies, I can't remember which, and their big concern was, well, time delay means two different mechanisms. That's doubling the price of toasters. No one's ever going to buy that. Well, let me tell you, toaster companies, people come up to me on the street and they will pay top dollar for that kind of toaster.
Yeah.
But no, so for that reason, because I was too damn busy, it never got made. But actually, there is a solution, everybody.
What's the solution?
I used to talk about this at work, about the difference between listening carefully to a requirement and over-solutionizing too early
Okay.
in IT circles. If you want a delay between two slices of toast, go into any hotel and go to breakfast. And there's
conveyor
the
belt.
wire
Yeah.
conveyor belt toaster. Buy one of those. That's your solution. You don't need to invent a new toaster. It already exists.
Just get an industrial size.
Yes.
Massive.
Costs you an absolute
Yeah.
fortune, but
But you'll
you
never
could
ever
have-
eat cold toast.
Exactly. Yes. The second invention is the major thing I'm working on at the moment that I'm really quite passionate about. I'll give you the elevator pitch.
Sure. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
So
is Dragon's
hold
Den.
on.
Yes.
Yeah. Hold
We've
on
got
to
a
your
big pile
hats.
of money here.
Right.
I'm Stephen Bartlett with the shoe.
Okay. I'm obviously Deborah Maiden,
Of course. Yes. I'm scared of both of you.
as you should be, John.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to extract carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and use that carbon to improve poor quality soil. I want to turn the Sahara Desert into a forest, terraform the planet, and reverse climate change.
I mean, the ambition is there.
Yes, so that's the whole philosophy
And
behind
then what's
it.
the whole philosophy around soil? Is it just so that things can grow really quick?
Yeah, my invention is really just improving the soil so that nature can get going.
So I feel that what we need now is producer Tom or producer Danny to pretend to be Evan Davis out in the hallway,
Yes.
basically saying a overview of what you've just said again
Yeah.
to the camera,
Yeah.
whilst we negotiate and then basically say how much money we're going to put in for.
I mean,
the
who
company.
wouldn't want to be in on Jon Tickle's going to reverse global warming?
Yeah,
Oh my God, I'm in. I'm in.
I mean, just a few $100,000. If there are any billionaire philanthropists out
Yes.
there who happen to be called Bill
Get in
Gates,
touch.
give me a call.
We've broken the fourth wall so many
So
times this
many
episode
times.
in a really
Habit of mine,
enjoyable
isn't it?
way. No, it's
To
great.
talk to kids
Just direct to the
and
audience.
Bill Gates.
Yes.
Yeah. You obviously you're very busy now with these inventions, and you've said how you've spoken about the relief and the how comfortable it was for you to go back to normal work. Are there any glitzy media shows you would want to do though, John?
Oh,
if
God,
the
yes.
if the media phone did ring,
Yes.
What would you wanna
absolutely.
do?
I mean, I am competitive. So, Strictly.
oh, Jon
I mean-
Tickle on Strictly.
Mainly because it would be learning a skill that I absolutely don't have. I cannot dance. And so I would
Who
love...
doesn't want to see Jon Tickle do the paso doble?
Yes. But the big thing that I'm actually dying for, and I don't know how to achieve it, is the Traitors.
Oh,
I have come up with a way to win that game.
Of course
I'm
you have.
absolutely confident of it. I need to get on it and prove
This
it.
is you 30 years ago
Yes.
looking at Big Brother going, I just need to work out how it works and then I can get round
Yes.
it. You're now doing that with the Traitors.
Yes.
Would you want to be a traitor or a faithful?
With my method, doesn't matter. I can win from
Have
either end.
have you broken the BBC's most lucrative program?
If I'm on it, I would break it. Yes.
So you've got a theory or a game plan, whatever you
Yes.
call it, that
Yeah.
you believe would absolutely result with you winning.
Yes.
Get him on!
Yes.
Get him on!
Yes. I don't know how to achieve it. I haven't got any contacts.
But it doesn't matter if you're traitor or faithful.
No, it doesn't.
What would you want to be?
Claudia.
Yeah.
Never met Claudia. Wouldn't that be a dream? It's easier to play as a traitor, isn't it? Because you've got more weapons at your disposal.
Right. BBC, get Jon Tickle on.
And finally, what are you up to now? Because you talked a lot about Inventions, obviously, and then what else are you doing?
That's my full-time job.
That is your full-time job.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm spending all my redundancy money just exploring this thing and hoping that it's going to work.
Brilliant.
But the way I look at it, there must be a reason why people haven't built these things before. Now, maybe it's because I don't understand my chemistry and my physics, and there's a very good reason, but I haven't found it yet, so I'm keeping going.
All I'm thinking is Nobel Peace Prize to Jon Tickle.
Absolutely.
Just the transition, because like we said at the start of the interview, gone from blockbusters to Big Brother to Brainiac. It just feels this is the natural trajectory.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. Maybe politics one day. I'm very frustrated with politics at the moment. I'm sure most people
who
are.
isn't?
Yeah,
Yes.
if you can find a theory that solves that.
Can you solve that?
Well,
Can that be your next
that'd be
thing?
amazing,
It's
Jon.
one of those things, it can't be that hard to, if our politicians can't be better, I guess I might have to step up and do it myself one day. But I'm hoping that I
And if
can
that's not
avoid
the
that.
inspirational note to
Absolutely.
end on, I don't know what else is.
Oh, Jon Tickle, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
What
Thank
a
you very much,
pleasure.
Oh, my
Emily.
word.
It's been delightful for me.
The
Thank you.
teenage me is
Yeah.
just at a complete
You're
peace.
making me feel very old now.
Like and subscribe to us on YouTube or at Instagram at RememberMe or on our TikTok page at RememberMeMDS. And you can also follow and watch us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Danny, what does MDS mean?
Mic Drop Studios, like and subscribe.
Sorry, yes, Mic Drop Studios, like and subscribe, says producer Danny. You can email us at micdropstudios.com. And you can also visit us at micdropstudios.com/rememberme. Don't forget to leave your comments below about today's episode. We do read every single one. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye.